Hey guys, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Got a cute little treat box for you here today. It's a lidded box and it fits one of these Hostess cupcakes just perfectly. I don't know if you've seen these in the stores yet. They're everywhere around me. I've linked to a bundle on Amazon where you can get the Hostess iced pumpkin cupcakes and the pumpkin spice Twinkies together in one bundle. But this box holds this Hostess cupcake. I love that they have the limited edition pumpkin, but these would be good all year round with the regular chocolate Hostess cupcake. All right, let me show you the template for this box. It's super simple. You've got a base and a lid. And we're going to start with a 6 1/4 inch square of pecan pie cardstock and a 4 13/16 inch square of Iconic Celebrations Designer Series paper. Let's grab our Simply Scored, and we're going to score these according to the template. So for our 6 1/4 inch base, we're going to score all the way around at 1.5 inches. And then for our 4 13/16 inch designer series paper, we're going to score all the way around at 3/4 of an inch. All right, let's work these score lines with a bone folder and trim. All right, so we've got our lines scored, and trimming is super simple. Go up straight on the long rectangle, make an angle cut on the square, and then bevel that square just a little bit. And that'll make a nice even top and a nice even edge around the lid. So we're going to do that on both of these squares. That's our bottom. Same exact thing for the top. So on the long rectangle, just cut up straight. On the square, make a little angle cut, and then make a little angle cut on the opposite side. Okay, there's our lid and our bottom. We're going to assemble with tear and tape adhesive. So we'll add 2 strips of tear and tape adhesive to each of the square tabs on each the bottom and the lid of the box. All right, we've got tear and tape adhesive on all 4 square tabs on each the lid and the bottom. Now we'll remove the liner from all these adhesives. Okay, that's all the liner from all the adhesives. Now we'll assemble the boxes, the lid and the bottom the same way. Just bring up the adhesive tab to the inside of the box and square up the corners, making a cute little square bottom and a lid to match. There's our lid. Can pop our little cupcake in there. Fits perfect. And top with the lid. Now that 13/16 was very important so that the lid slides on and fits the box. You need just a little bit more room, that 1/16 of an inch that's on the inside. All right, we're gonna switch up the patterns on this. As you can see, I've done some die cutting ahead of time. Let me show you those pieces. I have a couple of tag pieces here. This die is from the Iconic Celebrations dies, or excuse me, Iconic Imagery dies. There's a couple of really cool labels in there. I love that one. And then this, we call this the Circtangle tag. That Circtangle tag is from the Greetings of the Seasons dies. I've got my little Very Vanilla tag here. And then this one we cut using the tiny little tag die from the mini pocket envelope size. All right, so there's our die cutting. Got a piece of Iconic Celebrations. There's where the Celebrations is. Paper here. This is the scrap from cutting this lid. And so I just took that scrap and cut it down to 3 1/4. Let's see how wide this scrap is to start with. It's about 1 1/8. This is probably, oh, because of the 3/16 or 13/16. So it's going to be 16ths. This is 1 3/16 of an inch by 3 1/4. And then I just cut some chicken lips on the ends. All right, let's start with, since we've got it all here, let's just adhere these die cut layers and designer series paper to each other, which will make it all one nice piece. And so either I can lose it all or lose none of it, right? All right, the other thing I did here is when I had started out this design, I had this label off to kind of the left, thinking that the cup was going to go over here and the label would balance it out. But then the little hello tag was covering the whole crust of my pie. So I flip-flopped my elements. So this time I'm going to put my tag or my label from the Iconic Imagery to the right and my tag over to the left and see how I like the balance of that. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of liquid glue on this tag, and we're kind of auditioning the placement of it on the box, but we're not quite gluing it to the box yet. Well, I guess actually it doesn't really matter if we glued it to the box right now. Nothing else has to go underneath it. So let's do that. That means we're committed to this placement on the other side. So let's see how that lines up with the cup on the left. I had an original idea. I had the cup going off to the right here. All right, so there's our, and for this you can take the lid off since it's designer series paper and burnish from the inside. That'll help keep you from crushing the lid. It's only made out of paper after all, not even cardstock. All right, let's set this aside and grab our Stampin' Pierce mat and some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Got vanilla cardstock here, and I've got some basic white. I'm going to stamp my images for this on Very Vanilla. I like the look, the warm, cozy look, especially with our autumn theme here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the cup and the pumpkin and the cinnamon stick. All of these are from our More Than Autumn bundle. More Than Autumn was our featured bundle for October Card Club for Cool People. There's an amazing card class that matches this box. It'll be available October, on or about October 20th in the Kitchen Table Stamper store, second chance content. But if you're a member of our Card Club for Cool People and you were on October 5th when it built, then you'll want to bookmark this video because you can make this project with your leftover ribbon and designer series paper. All right, so we've got our pie, our cup, our pumpkin, and our cinnamon stick on vanilla. Now we're gonna do, I put my ink pad away too soon. We're gonna do our whipped cream on white. Now here's the thing, this one image has 2 dies. So you can get either a full size whipped cream or you can get just the little top of the image. So we'll stamp it twice. You know what, I might even just stamp it 3 times because I'm using this set so much. Oh, that one looks nicer than that one. Let's do the top of this one again. We'll do a couple just to get the best images here. And actually, since it's such a good point to make, let me just protect my work surface here. I'm going to show you, you can also use the littler scraps of paper for this small whipped cream. It's because you've got 2 dies. So when I get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I'll show you that. Okay, let's go ahead and color our images. I've got some pumpkin pie Stampin' blends here, and I'm going to do my little pumpkin and my pie. I'm doing just a little bit of shading on these to give them some dimension. I'm just going to flick some dark pumpkin pie from the top and the bottom, and then go kind of down the right and left edge. And when I bring these together, I'll just blend kind of over where the artist drew the lines for the texture on the pumpkin. So pretty simple. And then for the pie, since it's a bit bigger area, I'm going to switch to the brush. And you guys, if you know me, you know I don't use the brush very often. But I'm going to do kind of the main fill with the brush. My brush end has gotten a little frazzled, so I'm going to switch back to the bullet to get around the edges here. You got to work fast like this because you're working with wet ink. You want to keep the wet edges wet when you're blending. And then I'm going to take the dark pumpkin pie here, and I'm going to draw in kind of a shadow that goes along the edge of the pie, down the side of the slice, and then down the edge. And I'll go back with my light pumpkin pie, and I'll kind of blend that back and soften it a little bit. So there's our pumpkin pie and our little pumpkin. I've got some pecan pie next, light and dark pecan pie. And I'm going to do the cinnamon stick and the coffee. So I'll do light to fill. And then on my cinnamon stick, I'm not doing too much. Just going to add a little bit of dark, kind of where the curl is at the center, and then down the center line here. And then I'll just touch to blend that. And for my coffee cup, I'll fill entirely with light pecan pie. And then from the edges, I'll just flick varying lengths just to give a little bit of shadow where the cup would curve away from you. That's kind of the idea there, is to get that where the cup would curve away, add the shadow. Same with the bottom section. Just flick. And you can see my little lines are kind of varying. And I'll go all the way across the bottom of the cup. And then I'll just flick with the light one to soften those lines. Easy. Not much to it. Don't be afraid of the dark one. If you want to, you can go back and just add a tiny little bit of a dark shadow at the very extreme edge. Gives it a little more dimension. Got light old olive, and I'm going to fill the cup cozy or the wrapper here with light old olive. Just one kind of solid coat of color. No blending, no shading here. And for the pie crust, I've got SU 500. What I'm going to do for the crust is fill in with the 500. Now that it's filled in with 500, we'll do kind of a single shade effect, blending effect here. We'll go back where the artist drew in these little details, and we'll add a little bit extra, another layer of 500 over the 500. So it gives a very subtle dimension. All right, let's get our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. I wanted to show you this before I trim it away. When I'm doing the pumpkin, because we're gonna layer them up to get kind of a dimensional pumpkin word, I like to toggle them upside down and right side up so that I use the cardstock in the most efficient way to get those layers of cardstock that's going to make our dimensional word. So to get as much on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine as I can, I'm going to cut that away. But I thought it was worth showing you because we're going to do a technique with the word that's going to really make it pop. But it does take a little bit of extra cardstock, and I found that toggling upside down and right side up with the word allowed the die to be a little bit closer together at each cut and save some cardstock. All right, so we're gonna lay our whipped cream on there. And again, I'm gonna save these for another project. They're not bad, but I did like that one after I got a little bit of practice. We're gonna add our whipped cream die and then secure it down. Let me get some tape. Then I'm gonna show you this set has another little die. And this is it. And it took me forever to figure that out. What happened here? One stamp, two dies gives you two different effects. So we're gonna line this little guy up just with the top so you can stamp off the edge, use all your little scraps, and get all your little whip topping for your pie out of those little edges and scraps. So the little die does this one, the big die does this one, but you use the same stamp for each. All right, let's drop this on and we'll get our dies all lined up. Okay, and then with this, we're also going to run the pumpkin word. You'll want to run the pumpkin word 3 times. Now, I prefer to do the pumpkin technique I'm about to show you with liquid glue. I like to have a little bit of time to slide, but if you are not a fan of the liquid glue, put a scrap of the adhesive sheets on the back of the vanilla cardstock behind the word pumpkin to make the pumpkin word peel and stick, okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about with the liquid glue. Let's get these guys out of here and we'll do our pumpkin word technique. Okay, so I've already cut the word pumpkin 2 additional times. Let's get this little guy out of the die. I actually have cut this dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And it still comes out of the die pretty easy. I'm pretty impressed with that. All right, now I have this little squeeze bottle. I'm going to link to that on Amazon along with the bundle for the Hostess goodies. But I like this method because I have time to slide. If you put adhesive sheet on the back of your pumpkin word, then you can just peel the one pumpkin word and stick it on top of the other pumpkin word. But if you're like me and your eyes are on crooked and you don't line it up just right, then you have kind of like a pumpkin word that looks like it's running away from you. So I like to put the liquid glue using the ultra fine point bottle because on top of the sheet, so I've got no glue mess because I can slide it a little bit. See, my end wasn't lined up exactly right. And if I'd used the adhesive sheet, it would grab and then you can't slide to line up the layers. So this is how I do it. Just use that fine glue tip. This is multi-purpose liquid glue that I order from Stampin' Up. I just transfer it into this little bottle. And now the face of my pumpkin is all sticky. I can take the extra one that I cut, can lay it right on top, but see how it's not, I don't have it so that it's lining up quite right. And if that was the adhesive sheet, then I'd be kind of trying to pick it and and move it, but because it's liquid glue, I can just slide it all into place and get it all nice and even. Now look here, let me see if I bring this up for some contrast. You can see that we've made a really nice dimensional word. It's not quite as thick as like a chipboard word, but it's nice and thick, and it just has a really cool presence on the project. And it didn't take much effort at all, especially with that adhesive sheet, just peeling it, or with the peel and stick, or with the liquid glue in the fine tip bottle. My cup is just a little bit far to the right, or a little bit far to the left. The right side is a little bit wide, and so sometimes that happens. Your die is just a little. So grab your scissors and just give it a trim so that it looks a little bit more even from side to side, even across the bottom there. I don't know if you guys do that trick, but I do it all the time, and I think it's very good for everybody to know that nobody's perfect. And so when that happens, I like to show you what I do. All right, so we're going to take pumpkin and add a little bit more liquid glue, just tracing over the back of it. And we're going to just pop that on. Again, I'm using liquid glue. You can have it peel and stick, but with liquid glue, I've got a little bit of time here to say, okay, now I'm going to add my cup and my pie, and my cup and pie can go right up to the edge and kind of slide underneath the pumpkin greeting just a little bit. Not far. It's just a little bit underneath the K. The pie goes a little bit underneath the K, and the cup goes just underneath the top of the M. And that gives us a little bit of room to layer like that. Again, you can take the lid off the box and just kind of burnish from the back side. Get that glue to adhere. Next, we're going to do some mini dimensionals. Oh, look at that. Got a little bit. I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on the back of the pie and the pumpkin and on the whipped cream. And then we can add these elements to our box. I love this little pumpkin. I think it just makes the whole thing come to life. Then a little whipped cream on top of the pie, I think really gives it that extra finishing touch. I'm going to put a little liquid glue on the bottom half of my cinnamon stick here. And then I'm going to slide that underneath the whipped cream and adhere it to the treat box. Next up, let's grab our Stampin' Pierce mat one more time, and that little vanilla tag. I've got some, there we go. The little hole, the thread, the tag is on the left. Memento Tuxedo black ink. The word hello is also from the More Than Autumn. We're going to mix and match with the word pumpkin. So now we got a treat box that says hello pumpkin. Let's go ahead and stamp that just a little bit to the right. Now I've got some linen thread here and a thread flosser, or a floss threader. I'm telling you, the name of these things just get away from me. They're called floss threaders. If you try threader or flosser, you get all kinds of crazy results on Amazon. So I'll just link to some, because it took me forever and the right name to finally get them on Amazon. But I'm going to use that little threader to just bring the linen thread through that hole really easy. I've got very vanilla and black large check ribbon here. This is what you can do with some of the extra ribbon designer series paper from your card club for cool people October More Than Autumn Stamp-A-Stack. You'll have plenty of extra ribbon, iconic celebration designer series paper. So bookmark this if you're a card club member, and you've got the packet if you're not a card club member, but you'd like the coordinating Stamp-A-Stack. For this project, check out the Kitchen Table Stamper store starting on or about October 20th. And this is the Stamp-A-Stack cards that coordinates to the box that we're doing today. And the online content of that will be available at Kitchen Table Stamper toward the end of the month here. Our card club bills on the 5th of the month and is fulfilled on or about the 20th of the month. So that means you get your digital content on or about the 20th, and we mail the card club packets, which are also available. You can get it online only or with the packet. We mail and deliver that content digitally on or about the 20th. All right, so I've got a glue dot here. I just peeled one off, and I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to pick up a glue dot. I'm going to put it back on this little strip. Hold on, I didn't pick up the glue dot. I'm gonna put it back on this little strip. So I'm going to put the glue dot on the linen thread. So now it's stuck to the tag. Bring the linen thread up and over the bow, and then I'm gonna tie a thread knot. So I can cut this away from the spool and tie that thread knot. Now we've got the little tag tied to the bow. Pull that tight, looks super cute. Trim off the excess. Actually got 2 glue dots on this little strip, so I'm going to pick up another glue dot just to make sure it's going to stay nice and tight. So there's our tag ribbon element. Super sweet. And we'll just pop this on the box to cover that hole at the end of our tag. Now, you can add a little dimensional behind there or a glue dot behind there if you're like me and you don't want your hello to just be bouncing all over the place. You want it to stick where it looks best. Add a little mini glue dot if you want to, and then put that right on there. And you can see it's a little different for each one depending on where all the elements come together. All right, so I think that was the right choice. When I swapped the cup from the right side to the left side, it was already glued down and I couldn't switch the banner. So I think I would do it on the right side when I do it again. Actually, we're gonna do this live on Friday. So when I do it live on Friday, I'll still do probably the banner over here and let some of that, more of that designer series paper show through. But you can let me know which one you like better, with the cup over the banner or the cup and the banner to be separated so that you can see more of each element. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about Card Club, about the More Than Autumn Stamp-A-Stack content that will be available October 20th, you can reach out. Stay crafty at kitchentablestamper.com is our email. And shop Stampin' Up! 24/7. Buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.